Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. This is going to be a full face of Kiko Milano. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. I thought it was about time to do another full face makeup look with Kiko Milano. I went onto their website the other day and I found some new products that they seem to have launched, either in limited edition collection or, my favorite thing, their regular line, or they were products that I had been eyeing up but that had been out of stock when I last did a video like this, which was last May. And there are products from that video in May that I'm currently testing out. So I just thought that I could come on here and chat to you about Kiko Milano and put as many of their products on my face as possible. First things first, why do I do content with Kiko Milano so regularly? It's because they are one of my favorite brands. If you're looking for a brand that sort of has drugstore pricing but performs like high-end, then this is the brand that I would recommend you look into. When it comes to Kiko Milano, I feel that they do a lot of things really well. They are a little pricier, like they're not like the cheapest of the cheap drugstore. They're more like Max Factor, L'Oreal, Maybelline kind of prices in my book. And of course they are sold in their separate stores or online in many places. So I actually did some skincare last night, and it was a wrapping mask by Medicube that I was sent in PR. And I've been trying to test it out, and it's a really lovely product, but it kind of peels off and I'm struggling to get it all off my face in the morning. So I did cleanse my face and did my skincare routine, but if you see any sort of bumps in the base in a second, that's probably because of that skincare item that I'm testing out, just so you know. But I'm going to be going in with a primer. I've not tried too many primers from Kiko, and this was new in their Skin Lover range. So this range came out earlier in the year, and it instantly piqued my interest because it's very much like focusing on skin-like makeup, and that's what I enjoy. So it came with a primer, and this is only the second time I'm putting this on my face. So I can't say too much about it. I have more primers to test out than I can possibly put on my face in one go. So this will be reviewed once I get around to testing it out. I'm still in the midst of my Kosas Glow IV, which has been lovely, but I'm of the opinion that I want to use up a primer before I go on to the next one. So primers can take a while for me to like get around to, and Essence and Catrice also came out with new primers for their fall winter collection. So those are going to have to be tested out first, because once I've tested those out, I can update you on all of my thoughts on all of the products in those ranges. So yeah, this is nice enough. It's a very thin, almost like serum-y kind of primer. It feels quite hydrating on the skin. But like I said, I've only used it, like this is the second time I'm using it, so I can't really say too much about it. I'm going to have to substitute some products because I don't have them from Kiko at the minute. One of those things is an eyeshadow primer, but their neutral eye base is really good. I used one up in the past. My favorite is still the Milani. I'm currently using up my NYX HD eyeshadow primer, and this is almost gone. So that's why I want to make sure I use it as often as I can. For the rest of my base, I actually have two options. Currently in my Shop My Stash is the Skin Lover Intense Serum Foundation. This is in 1CR. But I just got this in. This is the Skin Hybrid Blurring Skin Tint Foundation with an SPF 30 in shade 1 Porcelain. This is just new in, so I think I want to put that on my face because this I did use in the video I did last May. So I'm testing it out. So if you're looking forward to my full review of this, you can find that over on the blog in the next couple of weeks, because then that will be up. So I'm going to go in with the skin tint, and I love skin tints, we all know that, but this one, I'm not so sure about. And the reason why I'm not so sure about this skin tint is twofold. It had a really weird scent, and it sort of evaporated. Like, it does have some alcohol in it, seems, which my sensitive skin probably doesn't love. And the shade was okay. It definitely had a pinky undertone, which made me really happy. But as I was swatching it on the back of my hand, the edges of the product actually like darkened. So I think this might oxidize quite a bit. So not sure how good this is gonna go, but we're gonna roll with it. on my face against the redness, it looks a lot more yellow. Oh no. See? This is what I mean keeps happening whenever I've used that Metacube face mask. And I think I've removed it because it doesn't look or feel like there's anything there. But look at that. Oh, I need to go wash my face again. Like, this is not good. Okay, I can't film a video like this. I'll be right back. So I'm back with take 2 of this skin tint. It could also be that the primer underneath it isn't like the right match. I'm not entirely sure, but it looked to me like it was that mask thing. And this is so weird about that product because every single time I've used it, it feels like it's completely gone from my face. I make sure to cleanse my face thoroughly right after I wake up. But because it's such a thin, sheer layer, because you can sort of like peel it off, but it doesn't come off in one bit, the face mask. It just kind of like you rip it apart if you start pulling it. So I prefer to just cleanse my face to get rid of it completely, but it's just not been the best with makeup, I have found. So not sure I love that product. Okay, this is going on a lot better now that we've got cleansed skin again. So it could also be interacting with the primer now that I think of it, because I did put a primer there as well. See, now it's still doing it on my face. Oh, on my chin. Even though I did clean that, I did go over that. What's going on? Can I wipe it off? It just kind of peels right off. But at least in the area where I've just taken off the foundation that was on before, it's no longer happening. Oh well. So apologies if this makeup is a bit messy. Like I said, I'm testing out the other product, but I just don't think I like it in combination with makeup. I think it might work really well if all you're wearing is skincare. But like I said, if this now happens on my forehead, because I know I took it off on my forehead really well, then it's going to be the skin tint with the primer. Let's see how this goes. Okay, it's not happening on my forehead. Okay. See, it around my temple here, I get all these little grains of makeup. Look at that. It's like all up in my hairline. I cleansed it this morning. What's going on? I hate products when they do it like this. Like it's all in my hair. Oh no. It is the face mask because I didn't put the primer in my hair. That's a bit of a shame. It is the face mask. I do also have a newish concealer to me. This is still something I still need to review as well. It's also from the Skin Lover range. This is in shade 01. So let's see how this layers. And this has actually, it's really strange. It's like a metal applicator. So it's especially targeted to like use on the under eye area because it's very cooling. Do need a little bit of concealer up here. And I think you can see that middle applicator a little bit better when most of the product is gone. Do you see? It's just metal. It feels very cold, which if that's something you like, if you like that coolness on your skin, can help with puffiness and stuff. The only downside to that metal applicator I find is that it doesn't help you, like, it just puts the product on. So for the split second it touches your skin, it doesn't really do much extra, you could say. But it's a nice touch. So those are the base products done. We just need a powder, which of course I'm going to do with one of my all-time favorite powders. This is the Radiant Fusion powder in 01. I'm currently still in the midst of using my Kosas, but this powder is already in my makeup collection as a backup because I repurchased it last year so I could use it for filming videos like this. There's a hair. But this is generally one of my all-time favorite powders that I've ever used. It's a dupe for the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powder. I find they're very similar if you use Shade Diffused Light. So this is just a lovely little product. and I can't wait to go back to it and use this one up as well. I don't have Kiko brow products, so I'm just going to be quickly doing those off camera, which means we're going into bronzer, blush, and highlight. First up, we're going to talk about bronzer, and the Flawless Fusion bronzer has come out in different shades. This is shade 08. According to the website, this shade name is Cool Almond. And when I swatched this, I instantly thought, yes, that's a shade for me. But for some time now, I've been using shade 01 in the Flawless Fusion. And this, I don't remember what this was called, but I was thinking, yeah, Mine Hard Pan. I think this is a slightly deeper shade, but actually I did take off the hard pan, so it could very well be, because the other one I've never used, that this is actually like roughly the same shade. So I'm swatching 01. And now 08. Oh yeah, 08 is a little bit deeper, as you can tell, because I wanted to see how similar these would be. But I do think that undertone-wise, like when you shear them out, they're pretty similar. So even though full-on swatched on a finger, they look very like deep. The other one looks much deeper, but you can see that when you like shear it out, that 08, which is the one below, and 01 is at the top, that they're not that different. Undertone wise, I feel they are actually very similar. So if you want the same effect but you missed out on shade 01 because it was discontinued, they no longer sell the shade, then 08 can be a good alternative, which is what I was hoping. Moving into highlighter then, you will have seen me haul the Glow Fusion highlighting drops in shade 2. This looked really stunning to me. It's more of like a peachy pink with like a champagne flash. That's how I would categorize it. So that is really lovely, and I had been lusting after this particular shade in these highlighting drops for some time now. I have a different liquid highlighter from Kiko that actually has the same shade, I think. So I just think that these drops may be a little bit more intense than the liquid highlighter I have. Here is what it looks like if I put it on my finger. So you can see that it has this very bright, almost like cool toned flash to it. So even though it does have that pinky peach base, it definitely will look lighter on your skin. So I really like the look of it. It's a lot more subtle than I had expected. Like, this is the first time I'm using this product, and I think it looks really pretty on. It's just this really nice little bit of glow. In the mirror I have here, I cannot see a very obvious base to this. It's not as if there's like a dark pinky peach base and then just highlighter. It actually looks fully transparent once it goes on, and it goes beautifully with my undertone. So loving that for me. I'm almost forgetting, but I have another bronzer in my current shop, my stash, that's by Kiko. They did this liquid bronzer by, it was a limited edition with Emma Roberts. So I'm testing this one out. It looks really dark initially, but when you blend it out, it works quite well. But I do have to say that I don't love that sort of spongy packaging. It just kind of, the dots you get with it are too small, and then it takes forever to blend them out. So not a huge fan of the way of application, but the shade is beautiful. We're moving on to blush already, which is dedicated to this Velvet Touch Cream Blush Stick in shade 8. Now this looks a lot more brown toned in real life than it did on the website. I thought I was going to get like a mauvey pink, but as you can see here, it's quite brown. So not sure how much I'm gonna like that, but I'm gonna apply it using my fingers. Just use it on my finger here, and then I transfer it, and then I tap it in. Yeah, but with this, whether I'm using the bronzer or whether I'm using the blush, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference, I feel. But it's a good, like, neutrally toned option, I'm sure. It's not too intense. So here is what the blush, bronzer, and highlighter combo looks like. I think it looks beautiful. The bronzer shade is really good for me too. So loving that, which means it's time for the eye look. I'm first going to be applying my little MAC Duo here to double prime my lids, and then I'll be right back. Priming my lid is all done, and of course the star of this makeup look is going to be my new Lumiverse limited edition water shadow. This is in shade 03 Quantum Violet, and it's this really beautiful purple to gold duochrome. It's not like in this like finger swatch, it doesn't look too shifty. I hope I can show you what it looks like, but I hope it shows up better once it goes onto the lids. But it just has this purpley, sort of lighter purple base, and then it has a gold silver reflect, you could say. So it has a little bit of everything. So I wanted just to lay down a base with some Kiko eyeliner sticks. So these are the eyeshadow sticks. I have shade 15 here, which is a matte taupe, which I think can be nice for like a smoky base. And then I have 14, which is the taupe shimmer, but it seems to have a little bit of purple in as well. So I think those two can play off of the shade really well. Like just deepen up the outer corner a little bit with 15, using 14 all over the lid, and then blending this one on top with a fluffy brush is going to give it more dimension. And then using a little bit of the Intense Color Long Lasting Eyeliner in shade 13, which is this beautiful purple, to accentuate the lash line and possibly also use it on the waterline. Something like that is what I'm planning to do. So let me whack this on, and I'm going to be finishing things off with purple mascara to finish off this purpley look. But here is the finished eye look with Quantum Violet. So I did exactly what I said. I just did the order a little bit differently. I did use both of these eyeshadow sticks to sort of set up the look on the lid to add a little bit more depth. And this one broke off, so it fell out completely. I was able to push it back in though, so I think she's fine. Then I used this a little bit along the top lash line, which I then smudged out. And I used this one to tight line my eyes with. And then 14, which is the shimmering version, I also used on the lower lash line. And then I just sort of went to town using Quantum Violet in as many ways as I possibly could. So I started by applying it with a flat shader brush all over those cream shadows that I had laid down. Then I used a very fluffy brush to fluff it into the crease to make sure it's like above the fold. Then I intensified that with my finger to make sure the shade was a little bit more intense. And then I realized this is a water shadow, so these are water activated. So if you want them to look more shiny and more intense, you can, I just have a mini Fix Plus from MAC to wet shadows with if I want to. And I have a old brush that I use for this technique to apply a little bit more on the mobile lid. And this way I feel you can really sort of see the dimension of what this shade can achieve. I use the same shade in the inner corner. If you just use one layer, it's a very sheer sort of je ne sais quoi, like are you wearing shimmer, are you not kind of sort of situation. It's a little bit more satin, but you can see here that you can build it up to intensity and make it look far more intense than it normally would be. So I'm very happy with that. And that brings me to my Kiko lipsticks that I have that are new. These are the 3D Hydra Lip Stylo. So let me find them. The 3D Hydra Kiss formula we already know from their glosses, which is one of my favorite gloss formulas. If you're looking for a good lip gloss, the Kiko Milano 3D Hydra lip glosses are great. But now that they do them in a lipstick formula, I was intrigued, so I wanted to test them out. I picked up 3 shades. I'm quickly going to be showing these for you on. I've got a red, I've got a bright pink, which I think might actually go with the shirt. But I also have this cool tone, sort of softer nudie shade. So I'm going to start with that because that's the least intense. This is shade 18 in this 3D Hydra lip stilo. And if you know anything about me, it's sort of like purple, gray, brown. Did Kiko do it again and do another really good cool toned lipstick without it being like the same like blue tone pink that we see every single brand do? I think they might have. Ooh, I'm loving this with the eye look. I do need a lip liner with it because as I have with a lot of these like more gray tone leaning lipsticks, I always get this red ring around my mouth. So this with stone or grayish lip liner from MAC I think will be perfect. But this is beautiful. I really love this. These are very slippery on the lips. There's no other way to describe them. They do have full pigment, which is great. So they're pretty opaque. They have a little bit of shine to them, which I also enjoy. But it's a very weirdly thick formula compared to other lipsticks I have. Not sure how long these are going to last. They almost feel a little like sticky, but in a good way, I would say. So they may actually stay down and not move too much once you give them a little bit of time to set. But this shade is truly something unique and different that I haven't seen a lot of brands do. And to find it from Kiko, which I think these were like 12 euros, that's not a lot of money for a good quality lipstick. So I'm liking this one. Next up is shade 10, and I wasn't sure of what the shade was going to be, but it is just a bright red. So it's just your classic sort of blue toned red. It does look really beautiful, and I think because of this shiny formula, it's going to look extra good. You can see here, like on the tube, that it does sort of like stain the tube a little bit. That's how creamy these are. They're sort of, it feels like they're in between a matte and a cream. So it gives you a creamy, shiny finish, but with like, I hope, the longevity of a matte lipstick. That would be good. And I think with this shade, you can see how these go on. It's almost like they've taken vinyl lipsticks and put them into a bullet. That's sort of the shine you're getting. That's the finish you're getting, and yet it goes on fully opaque. Yeah, this is a formula that I feel Kiko is doing really well, and they're doing something differently from other brands on the market, which Kiko lipsticks tend to be one of my favorite categories. I've done videos in the past where I've tried their entire lipstick range. So if you're looking on reviews on all of their different lipstick lines that they have, I can link that down below. But this is beautiful. It doesn't really go with the look, but I think this is a beautiful, like if you're looking for a good Christmas lipstick, this would be it. When I first put it on, I was like, ooh, that looks orange. But then as I applied it and built it up, the blue undertone actually came through. So this is a really beautiful blue toned red. Finally, shade 16, and this is a bright pink, which I'm hoping will be going with my shirt. We'll see. But I love these kind of bright pinks in the winter time and in the fall season. It's like a winter berry to me. You know what I mean? So this can be a really pretty shade as well. So let's see what it looks like on. Now that I've had to reapply some foundation around my mouth to hide sort of like some of the red staining, I get that pilling of my base yet again. So I think there's also something going on with like the way the primer and the foundation that I put on act together. I'm going to have to test those out separately for sure. So it's not exactly the shade of my shirt. It's actually a little bit brighter, and it's got more blue in there. This is a beautiful sort of like blue tone, bright, hot pink. This is really fun. It's actually a little bit brighter than what I would normally go for my favorite winter berry sort of shades. I want there to be a little bit more depth, like closer to the shirt I'm wearing than this level of brightness, but this is beautiful. It's really pretty. The only thing that I'm now figuring out is this bullet doesn't have any sort of point, so it's very difficult to be very precise with this lipstick. It may be best to apply this with a lip liner if you want to wear it fully opaque like I'm doing today. But yeah, I'm going to be wearing this for the rest of the day. Maybe I'll remember to film another clip when I get home today. So really quickly before my pizza arrives, this is what's left of the lipstick after 8 hours of wear. I finished doing my makeup around noon. I then had lunch, retouched it, and now this is what's left. Which is not a lot, to be fair. I have a really weird dry patch right there on my lip, and I feel it just emphasizes any lipstick I wear, so that's probably why. That could actually be redness from the dry patch and not from the lipstick. And there's a little bit left around the rim of my mouth, but that's about it. But this is the rest of the makeup and what it looks like 8 hours in, which is perfectly fine by me. So apart from the lipstick, everything is very long wearing. The eyeshadow has very little, if no creasing whatsoever, which is a great idea in my book. So let me round out the video so this way you have a quick little update, and I'm gonna have dinner now. If I remember to update you, I will, and if not, then I hope this video was just fun by itself and gave you a bit of a lowdown on these new in Kiko Milano bits that I managed to get my hands on that I wanted to put on my face for you to test out and give you my thoughts. So this is the final look. Let me take off my little hairband here. I washed my hair last night, so my hair is all over the place. This is just what happens. I don't want to go see my hairdresser yet because I actually want to let my hair grow out a little bit. So I've decided to go in the new year and just let it be for the time being. But now I have this like massive fringe that needs to go somewhere, and it's just not really cooperating once I've just dried my hair. So it is what it is, and yeah, this is the finished full face makeup look with some Kiko bits. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you again really soon in a new video, and then I hope to see you then. Bye-bye.